Hello, this is Uncle Pigors, and you're listening to School Rock Podcast.
Hi, this is producer Carolyn Bates, and you're listening to the Skull Rock Podcast.
Skull Rock Podcast, where you hear the stories behind the adventures. With your hosts, Aljon and Dave Bossert.
Welcome to Skull Rock Podcast, where every week we dig into the Disney galaxy with real stories, behind-the-scenes moments you haven't heard, and the people who lived it. I'm Aljon, musician and lifelong Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, and pop culturist.
And I'm Dave Bossert, artist, filmmaker, and author, and welcome to the Skull Rock Podcast. Well, Aljon, we are in the dog days of summer. I don't know if you're experiencing the heat and humidity like we are here on the East Coast. It is definitely the dog days of summer.
It is. It's hot. It's really humid, but we are experiencing a bunch of rain. So while all this is going on, I feel like we're in the rainforest right now. We had flash flooding warnings all day yesterday. I can't mow the grass. Luckily for me, I actually took some time after work, mowed the grass really quick, and now it's literally, it looks like the rainforest back there again. It hasn't stopped raining.
Well, the funny thing that I've been hearing lately more frequently is instead of people saying it's humid, we have a more tropical climate. That's what people are referring to. It's more tropical. I guess that's a nicer way of saying, instead of saying muggy or humid, it's tropical outside.
But you know what? You and I, we've been to the tropics. We've been to the equator. Jakarta is literally right on the equator, and it is not that hot, but it is sweltering. It is. Whatever floats your boat, tropical climate, whatever it is, it's freaking hot outside.
It really is. It really is. Hey, listen, I think we got to dive in. We have so much to cover. First, I want to let our listeners over in the UK know that the Puppetoon movie director's cut restoration will be shown at the British Film Institute South Bank. That's the BFI South Bank. And I've got some links here that Aljon's going to put into the show notes. But our friend Arnie Leibovit, who has been the caretaker of the Puppetoon films and the guy responsible for these beautiful restorations, he sent me this, and I just want to let our friends over in the UK know that you can go to the British Film Institute South Bank in London and see this. And I think it's running from, let me see here. You have it up, Aljon? Yeah, it's running from the 9th through the 31st. So if you just click on the link Aljon's putting in the show notes, it'll take you to the British Film Institute page, and you'll be able to see when the show times are. Again, I am always one to say these are great films to see on a large screen, and to have a chance of seeing them in London, I think is fantastic. So the whole animation community that's in the London area, and really our listeners that are around the UK and also in parts of Europe, you can get over to London fairly easily through the Channel, especially if you're in Paris. It's a quick trip. So I would highly recommend that you go check this out. It's always a real treat to see these types of films up on the big screen. So check it out, the Puppetoon movie director's cut restoration at the BFI South Bank in London. So there's the plug for our friend Arnie. We'll try and plug it again next week as well. We also got some listener mail.
Email time. All right, Dave, what's in the email bag this week?
Well, I got a note here. It says, I saw that you're still unpacking things. And this is a listener who's also on my Facebook page and saw some posts that I've been making. And wow, what a collection that was from Fantasia. It seems like something which would be great to chat about for that new segment you were talking about, if you're able to, of course. Hope
Show and
all is
tell.
going, yeah, I know. Hope all is going great. And I just saw your book cover recently, and it looks fantastic. Very best. This is from Paul from Parts Unknown, who is now living in the UK. He apparently has moved from Tokyo, Japan to the UK. He's getting settled there. So he's an avid listener, and he always sends us notes and comments. So this was an email he sent me. So that was great. I did post on my Facebook page a whole bunch of workbooks that I found as I was unpacking. Yeah, there's a whole stack of workbooks spread out on a table that I found in a box that was marked like other things. I mean, this is what I was commenting on when we moved. It was like the movers packed stuff up, and it was like a hodgepodge in some of the boxes, a little of this, a little of that, and all of a sudden it's a surprise. I'm finding stuff. So anyway, maybe we'll have to talk about doing a show and tell type of segment if we can.
Well, sure. Well, don't move on quite yet, because since I have this up there, so are these workbooks with a lot of notes? I mean, what are in these workbooks?
So what you're seeing here are the covers to my workbooks. And by the way, I'll point out that several of them say Fantasia Continued. So this was before they changed the title to Fantasia 2000. And each one of those books represents one of the new segments from the Fantasia 2000 film. And inside are pages with story panels on them representing the entire film in storyboard form.
Wow.
And all my handwritten notes and other comments and things like that, because I would take these books to production meetings or go meet with the director about particular scene or sequence. And I'd write in all my notes by hand on these workbooks. You know, it's old school, but I found it to be an invaluable reference, you know?
Well, of course, because I think this is the physical media, right? This is the exact way business was done back in the day. You'd carry these file folders full of notes, and you'd put them in sequence. You probably tacked them on a board as you guys were looking at all of the stuff in the storyboard. And I'm trying to remember who was the executive director on the project. I can't remember.
That was Hendel Butoy. He was the supervising director, the Uber director for the entire Fantasia project.
Yeah, so I'm sure he had copious notes that you guys went back and discussed, and to try to plus the film as Disney always did back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just part of the tools, you know.
That's amazing.
I personally like to write into these workbooks with my notes and various highlighter colors and just and by the way, I am going to shoot a video of what's inside some of these workbooks and put it on my Patreon page.
I love that. I think that's awesome. So do the Patreon. Yeah. We'll of course link it, but of course Chris says Pines of Rome, one of my very favorite classical pieces of all time. Yeah, really good. And then Borsu Higson says, I hope you don't mind me reading this because
no,
it's good because you guys work
do.
together. Wow, these brings back some of the best days of my life. It still gives me goosebumps. Thank you for everything, Dave. And that's awesome that one of your old coworkers actually posted about that.
I mean, look, it's really something else as far as I'm concerned to keep finding these things, and as I find them, I'm posting them. But by the way, Aljon, I'm reaching over here. Here's show and tell. This is a Lucite invitation to the Amazing Spider-Man premiere from Columbia Pictures, which was on a Thursday, June 28th, 2012. This was one of the two Spider-Man films that starred
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield, thank you. That's the name I was looking for in my head.
There
There you go. So you
That's
can
awesome.
kind of see that. I found that in a box,
Well,
because
time out,
I
Dave.
went to that premiere.
Well, you went to the premiere. Did you work on the VFX
No,
for that?
no, but I will tell you, my sister Allison was a senior vice president at Sony Pictures at that time, and she was a senior vice president in charge of special events. So she actually handled all these premieres for Sony and for Columbia Pictures, and it was one of those things when they did these huge premieres. We always got an invite from my sister to come down.
Well,
We
there you
didn't
go
go to all of them, but we went to some of the key ones.
Well, that's fun. I mean, you probably went to Ghostbusters then.
Yeah.
Because she was there for Ghostbusters.
I did not. No, I did not go to the Ghostbusters one, but I think I went to Air Force One with Harrison Ford. My sister used to invite us to all of these things, and half the time we'd be like, I don't feel like driving down there.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, entertainment is in the Bossert bloodline, so that's there you go.
There you go. So anyway, that came out of one of the boxes, and that happened to be mixed into a box with my Fantasia workbooks.
That's awesome.
Which is crazy because it's two different time periods. It's like the workbooks are from the late 90s, and this was from 2012.
Well, as you move, I mean, that's what happens. Things just get thrown about.
I know, it's crazy. Anyway, so let's continue with our listener email. We had a comment on part 2 of the Joe Lane Cicero interview. It said, another great podcast from Don C. in Michigan. Thank you, Don C. And then Love Joe, a total class act. That's from Rick in Los Angeles. So, folks, we always love hearing from our listeners. So, you can post comments on our podcast. You can post comments on our respective social media pages. We always love to hear from you guys. So there you have it.
All right. Well, I love that too. Well, before we get any further, don't forget we have a special guest for this week's episode. Dave, who do we have in the hot seat this week?
Oh, well, we have, and I'm going to butcher his name a little bit, I apologize, but we have color stylist, visual development artist, and art director, Joaquím Royo.
Yeah.
Joaquím Royo,
Good job,
who is
man.
a Spanish artist who is living obviously in Spain, but has worked all over Europe, and we're going to talk to him. Super nice guy, and I just think we get a little bit of a European perspective in animation. He's going to talk a bit about some of the Asterix films. So we have a 2-part interview with him. So we're dropping part 1 today, and we're going to drop part 2 next week.
I love it. I love it.
Pam, she wrote this great review of my poetry book.
That's my pick. I read a great review.
Your girlfriend got a great review.
Oh, that's my pick, too. Sorry.
Excuse me while I start the projector.
Skull Rock Podcast, Picks of the Week. Well, let's get into it now. It is our Picks of the Week. Dave, you saw Spider-Man. What is the verdict?
Well, you're absolutely right. I did go see Spider-Man Brand New Day. I saw it in the Cube, which is a junior IMAX type experience, and stars Tom Holland, Zendaya, Sadie Sink, Jacob Batalon. Who plays Ned, who when I was watching the movie, I was like, hey, that's Aljon's doppelganger. I'm going to start calling you Ned.
All right, Ned. I'm the man in the chair. I'm helping you out, Dave.
But Peter Parker devotes his life to protecting New York City as a full-time Spider-Man. But as demands on him intensify, the pressure sparks a surprising physical evolution that threatens his existence, even as a strange new pattern of crimes gives rise to one of the most powerful threats he's ever faced. I thought this was a terrific installment of the Spider-Man franchise. I absolutely enjoyed it. I thought it had an emotional undertone that was refreshing, and more character development. I loved the fact that John Barenthal, playing Frank Castle, the Punisher, was in it. Crondon, playing Tombstone. There was just, I think, a terrific cast. Mark Ruffalo is back as
Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner, the Hulk. Michael Mando is in it as Scorpion. It's just really well done film. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 90%. IMDb gives it 8.1 out of 10. I highly recommend this. It's a extremely well done installment to the Spider-Man franchise. Very, very enjoyable summer movie. You must see this on a big screen. You really do. You have to see it on a big screen. So that's what I watched in the theaters. On the smaller screen, Aljon, I watched a number of episodes of a show on Hulu called Furious. And it stars Emmy Rossum as an FBI agent, Alice Black, Scott McNally as an NYPD detective that partners with her named Danny. Jake Lacey's in it. Lola Pettigrew. Quincy Tyler Bernstein is in this, and she's actually really terrific. An FBI agent goes undercover to capture a female serial killer who only marries lonely millionaires. Really well done. Rotten Tomatoes gives this 98%. IMDb 7.6 out of 10. It's really a fantastic series on Hulu, so check that out. Furious. I think episodes 1 through 4 have already dropped on this, and I've really enjoyed it. It's very well done. Now, Aljon, over on Prime, there's a series has dropped, first season, and it's called Sterling Point. Now, I consume a lot of media, Aljon, both on the big screen and the small screen, and I'm going to say something that I rarely say, but I think maybe I am not part of the demographic for this particular show. Okay. And I'll say that this show follows 17-year-old Annie Jacobson, raised in New York City with her twin brother and loving adoptive father. Annie's life takes a turn when she inherits her mysterious grandfather's island in Canada. Now, that's an intriguing, elevator pitch, if you will. You know what I mean? And I thought, wow, I could watch this. But really, what I think this is more of a coming of age type of series. With and by the way, Keen Ruffalo is in this. That's the son of Mark Ruffalo. Okay. But I'm gonna say that the first couple of episodes grabbed me. I thought it was really good as they were unfolding the story. But then there was several episodes in the middle where I sat there and I looked at Nancy and I said, "What is going on here?" It was like a montage of partying, and I'm like, what? Why are we doing this? This is not moving the story forward in my mind. There's some crazy stuff going on. There was some plot points that were abrupt, were missing, were I don't know. I will tell you, I watched all 8 episodes. Because I wanted to just be able to tell you that this is one of those shows that some of our listeners may like and maybe others aren't going to get. I kind of was left a little empty on this one, even though Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 92%. IMDb gives a 7.2 out of 10. But again, I think this series did a lot of hard work in trying to check off all the boxes, if you know what I'm talking about.
Got
You
it.
know, they were really trying to be over inclusive to the point of it's kind of ridiculous. You know?
You know what though? It's interesting. Look at how this is marketed, Dave. Does
Yeah.
that look to you like the typical coming of age story appealing to people in that you know, that teen to early or
Sort of
early adulthood?
Gen Z, you know?
That color palette doesn't look like that to me.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
And
It doesn't look like that to me at all.
it looks a little bit more mysterious, doesn't it?
It looks like something that should be on Netflix. Like this should be like the Haunting of Bly Manor, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, just the way it looks, it doesn't look to me like it's marketed. It looks like it's marketed to us. It should be marketed to us, and then you're telling me that this is marketed like a WB teen TV show.
Yeah.
Look at that color palette.
I know. So anyway, take it for what it's worth. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's definitely, I think, really marketed more towards a Gen Z crowd than it is to us older folks. All right.
Doesn't look like a TikTok video, Dave. I'm sorry.
I know. I know. All right. So
okay.
Moving on, I have to tell you that I finished watching Cape Fear, and I am just blown away by Javier Bardem's performance in this show. I mean, it is just, I thought back over all of the films and shows that I've watched over the decades, and I always pointed to Dennis Hopper's vile, villainous character in Blue Velvet as being one of the worst villains on screen. And I have to tell you now that I think Javier Bardem exceeds that in this version of Cape Fear. And what's amazing about this show is not only the incredible performances by Javier Bardem, Amy Adams, Patrick Wilson. There's just an incredible cast of people. Ted Levine is in this, if you remember him from gosh, it just slipped my mind. The show. Oh God, it'll come to me.
It'll come to you.
But you'll remember him from Monk.
There you go.
He was a main character in the Monk series. Joe Anders is Zach Bowden, one of the kids in the film in this series. I mean, just really incredible. Rotten Tomato gives it 76%, IMDb 6.7 out of 10. I give this like 90%. I mean, this is such a great limited series on Apple. It's 10 episodes. It is so worth the watch. And I have to give a shout out to Jeff Russo, who is he is an Emmy Award winning composer, and he incorporates elements in this. I mean, the music in this series, the music is a supporting character, Aljon. It is so menacing to hear the score. I mean, the music is just absolutely, it's these low brass instruments, and it is the word I keep going back to is menacing. The music itself is menacing, and Jeff Russo, the composer, incorporated elements from Bernard Herrmann's classic themes from the original film adaptation. And this is just a dark, atmospheric, and psychological soundscape that this guy has created. It's fantastic.
Dave, I just scrolled through. Juliette Lewis
Yes, Juliette Lewis is in this, and she
So,
plays a wackadoodle. Like, let me tell you.
So for the uninitiated, the Cape Fear film that came out in the late 90s, Dave? Was it with Robert De Niro? Was it Robert De Niro?
Yeah, Robert De Niro was in
Robert
it.
De Niro
Yeah.
and Juliette Lewis was in. I was like, wow, she's in the series? That's wild.
Yeah, it was a 1991 film.
There you go.
And it starred Juliette Lewis, Robert De Niro, Nick Nolte, Jessica Lange. Great film, by the way. Great film, directed by Martin Scorsese.
Yes, by Scorsese. Yes,
so,
it was really good. But this is good stuff, though, Dave.
Oh, this is absolutely unbelievable, and it's just and by the way, episode 10 is insane. The
Wow.
climax of this series, it was almost Alfred Hitchcock-ish in some of the scenes, the way they were composed. And by the way, Martin Scorsese is an executive producer, and so is Steven Spielberg on this film.
Wow.
It's just absolutely, this is a must-see limited series on Apple. So I just wanted to rave about it. That's how much I liked it. And then finally, because I've been traveling so much and I was really so exhausted over the weekend, Aljon, that
Yes.
I just literally collapsed into a sofa and just watched a bunch of movies because I was so tired from all the traveling I've been doing. And I had seen this in the theaters back in 2019, but I watched The Irishman, which stars Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, Harvey Keitel, Stephen Graham. It's got Bobby Cannavale, Ray Romano, Anna Paquin. It's just this is another Martin Scorsese movie. In the 1950s, truck driver Frank Sheeran gets involved with Russell Buffalino and his Pennsylvania crime family as Sheeran climbs the ranks to become a top hitman. He also goes to work for Jimmy Hoffa, a powerful teamster tied to organized crime. This movie is 3 hours and 25 minutes.
Wow.
Just absolutely incredible because they're weaving history into this film. The Kennedy assassinations, the Bay of Pigs in Cuba, how organized crime was involved in all of this, the Jimmy Hoffa saga and how Jimmy Hoffa disappeared and why he disappeared. It was all woven together. It's fascinating if you're a student of history and you want to see some of that history dramatized in a way that is just incredible. This was really a great film, and I'm glad I rewatched it. Like I said, I saw it in the theaters in 2019, but I'm glad I rewatched this. It was really an amazing film to see again. So there you have it. That's what I've been watching, Aljon. What have you been watching, my friend?
Well, I've watched a couple things, and I will get into it here. So, Dave, you and I were parents.
Yes.
And this movie, Hallow Road, is a psychological thriller, tragedy, drama, and it actually delves into the premise. How far would you go to protect your kids? So in this film, two parents race against time when they receive a distressing late night phone call from their daughter after she caused a tragic car accident. Now, Dave, what do you think that could be?
I don't know.
What do you think that could be?
I don't know.
You have your daughter giving you a call. She's in her early 20s.
Drunk driving.
In the middle of nowhere, and she hits someone on an open road. Darts out of nowhere, she hits somebody, and she calls you in hysterics. She said, "Dad." I think I killed somebody. This girl is in the beginning of her stages of life, and the two parents are mortified, absolutely mortified. They drive out into the middle of this country road to meet up with her daughter. The entire time they're in the car, she's 30 minutes away. And you can see here, her daughter is on the phone, and they literally are in the car just talking to her daughter, trying to talk her daughter down. What happens after that is complete bat crazy, absolutely bat crazy. So, is it real what happens? Is it a shared delusion? What's going on here? She gets found out. There's this couple that finds her daughter on the side of the road, offers to help, and the parents are freaking out because they're trying to cover this up because they don't want their daughter to get in trouble.
By the way, it stars Matthew Rhys.
Okay, yes.
Right?
So,
and Rosamund
yes.
Pike. I mean, it's a great cast.
So, yes, director by Abak Anavari, writer William Gills, and Rosamund Pike, Matthew Rhys, Megan McDonald. I mean, it's all done in the car, practically. The things that kind of cross your mind, and then my wife and I are thinking to ourselves, what? I mean, this is a crazy premise, but look, I mean, what would you do? And so this happens, and then it takes a twist, and it's absolutely unhinged. The critics were not necessarily kind to this film. I mean, look at the IMDb rating, and you're looking at a 6 overall out of 10. I tend to agree with that to some extent, but it's not. It's good.
Rotten Tomatoes gives it 88%.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
So
it's not a bad watch. It's a pretty short film. You can see here it's an hour and 20 minutes long. It's definitely worth the watch because of the high drama involved. If the stakes are set out from the very beginning, there's not too much exposition. You're basically thrown in. Here's the situation. Then more details unfold as it goes on. Not too shabby. So if you like drama and you kind of like it's definitely kind of like a low budget kind of thing. You know how some of the great stories are done in a closed space where two people just banter back and forth with each other because the stakes are set. They do set things up, and there is a very interesting payoff and a little bit of a twist there. And you're like, wow, I don't know what I'm seeing. And you know how I judge things. After I watch a film, I think to myself, do I want to learn more about this? I definitely went to YouTube and click to see what the sentiment was about this film and see what people were saying. So that, to me, that resonated with me. So check it out if you can.
And it does seem to me like it's a reflection of society, isn't it? Because people will do anything to protect their children, including lie, cheat, do whatever they'd have to, right? And we see this all the time now, right? Because when some kid does something horrific, the parents are like, "Oh, he didn't really do it. It was, it wasn't his fault. It was someone else." Everybody, nobody's taking personal responsibility anymore, right?
Yeah, but there is that twist.
Okay.
There is the twist.
I don't know what the twist is,
away.
but now I want to go watch it.
It's good. So good. Check it out. Dave, I don't remember if I discussed Locked last week with Anthony Hopkins. Did I tell you about this?
No.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go into it now. So along the lines of being closed in a car, here we go with another one. Bill Skarsgård, Anthony Hopkins, from producer Sam Raimi. Of course, Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
This movie is called Locked. And what happens when you get locked in the car? There's a lot of different things that happen. One of the things that run through my mind is the movie Cujo. I think of Cujo. You're in the car, you're locked, and you're being chased down. No, this is a complete a-hole that is played by Bill Skarsgård. I love Bill Skarsgård. What a great actor. He's a car thief. He goes in, he gets into this luxury car, and lo and behold, Anthony Hopkins slams the door shut, locks him in, and then starts torturing this guy. He's like, it's a psychological thriller. A thief breaking into a luxury SUV realizes that he slipped into a sophisticated game of psychological horror. He messed around and he found out with Anthony Hopkins, and Anthony Hopkins' unmistakable voice goes through the security system, the computer in this SUV, as you can see here. And he done messed up. He's locked in there for days. And it's like, I've had X amount of people break into my car over this past week, past few months. And I'm at the end of my life. And now I'm going to show you a lesson. I am going to show you a lesson. Don't mess with this. And you'll turn your life around as a result. So look at the pain on that face. He's trying to scream the entire way. No one can help him. No one knows he's in there.
They can't hear him. They can't hear him on the outside, huh?
And it's Anthony Hopkins on the other end. I mean, this is craziness personified. If you're into, eye for an eye, vigilantism, if you will, taking it way too far with the over-the-top antics of Sam Raimi. I mean, it's Sam Raimi, for heaven's sake. It's Anthony Hopkins. It's Bill Skarsgård. How can this be bad? Well, some people thought so. 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb. No, gang. I'll tell you something. This is much higher for me. I will give it a 7. It is psychological. It's a romp. It's irreverent. It's over the top, way over the top. As you know, if you love the Evil Dead series, you know it's over the top from Sam Raimi. There is some interesting situations you put yourself in. I mean, how would you survive in the car for a week? How? Well, you can only imagine. And check out Locked if you want to find out more.
All right.
Amen.
And again, another film that's about an hour and 35 minutes.
It's an easy watch, gang.
Yeah.
It's an easy watch. I mean, and I like these easy watches. I mean, it's easy. Yeah. And like I said, it's fun. Well, gang, that is all we watched this week. It's a lot of fun. And you know me, I love those crazy horror films. So if you would, please let us know what you're watching and we'll review it in a upcoming episode.
Like me, they spend all their time studying pop culture that Halliday was obsessed with.
I'm really interested in what I like to call pop culture news.
People know that in 22 minutes they can get their fast, fun pop culture fix.
Skull Rock Podcast. This week in Disney and pop culture.
Now it's time for pop culture news. Dave, let's look at the box office.
Wow.
Spider-Man, brand new day. Oh my gosh, 653 million worldwide, according to Deadline. Dave, this is a juggernaut of a film.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone past $1.25 billion in what, 10 days? I mean, it's
ridiculous.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Ridiculous.
It is. And completely worth it, by the way, my friends. I highly recommend, and Aljon, I think you do too, that you go out and see this on a big screen.
Oh, 100%. Go out there and, bring the fam. I mean, this is a huge thing for moviegoers and for not just fans. I mean, you could be a casual fan and enjoy Spider-Man brand new day.
And by
amazing.
The way, I went to see this with Nancy. And Nancy's a casual superhero fan. Like, she could take it or leave it. But when we walked out of the theater, I said, "What'd you think?" She goes, "I really enjoyed that. It was a good movie."
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's how you know it's good, if it wins over the casual fans, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The word of mouth is spreading like wildfire. This film continues to have legs, and that's awesome. Let's talk about the Odyssey. Odyssey still in number 2. It's doing really well, already
Strong.
over 1 billion worldwide. A couple weeks in advance of Spider-Man. I know Spider-Man will probably, Spider-Man still takes the cake, though, right? Then you have Toy Story 5 holding true. Super Troopers 3. There's a lot of paid media going on for Super Troopers, but it is a fun comedy. 3.9 million. Millions and Monsters, Moana, Ice Cream Man opened up at 2 million. So there's a lot of really fun stuff going on at the box office right now as summer draws to a conclusion.
Well, we're still in the dog days. Don't say, look, I think it's reprehensible that there's Halloween material out in the stores already. I mean, come on. We're like
I agree.
3 or 4 weeks away from Labor Day. Why
Well,
are
this
they
is
putting
true.
Halloween out? It's crazy.
Well, this is true. I mean, it's happening, and we know that pumpkin spice latte season is already upon us. My kids are going back to school on Monday, Dave.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. They go back tomorrow.
I gotta tell
as we
you,
record this.
every time my kids went back to school in mid-August, I would say the same thing. Every year, I would look at them when they say, "Dad, we're starting school on Monday." I'd go, "Monday? It's the middle of August. You're getting ripped off." That's what I would say to them. They're getting ripped off because when I was a kid, I didn't start school until after Labor Day.
After Labor Day, yep.
And then,
here you go.
And then school ended around Memorial Day, and you had June, July, August. You had a big summer.
Yeah, no, but you know what? Right now, as I say it, Dave, bring him back to school, please. Put him back to school.
I do know what you mean, absolutely. But still, all these poor kids, they're getting ripped off. They're all getting ripped off.
I have nothing but sympathy for them. Spider-Man Brand New Day, as you see here, Hollywood Reporter swinging to the best ever 10-day start. My goodness. Tom Holland's blockbuster looks to deliver one of the top sophomore frames in history as it faces newcomers, One Night Only and Super Troopers and Ice Cream Man. Ice Cream Man looks interesting, Dave. Have you seen the trailer for Ice Cream Man?
No, I have not.
It looks really good.
But I was going to tell you that one little factoid about Tom Holland and Zendaya, because they're married, right?
Yes, and they got married stealthily over the past few months. Yes.
Yeah, Tom Holland's films have grossed over $11 billion.
Is he not the best though?
And Zendaya's films have grossed over $8 billion between the two of them. This married couple, this is a power couple. Their
100%.
films together have grossed nearly $20 billion because Zendaya is in the Dune films, the Dune series, which I think part 3 is going to be coming out soon.
That's right.
She's been in some incredible films, but so is Tom Holland. So can you imagine?
MCU. He's Mr. MCU right now.
They're around 30 years old, the two of them, and their films have grossed nearly $20 billion at the box office. That's just crazy. I hope they're getting a big piece of that.
Oh, of course. I mean, they could, be EPs on whatever they decide to write their names on. They just they just cash money, but they are onto something. They are Hollywood's new power couple.
They
are royalty. But you know what? It couldn't have happened to nicer people. They just they've got the right PR people. They're doing all the right moves. They're super gracious with their fans every time I see them, no matter how many press junkets they have. And let me tell you, you and I, Dave, we've done numerous events where we interact with people, and you're there and you're working it. You're there. You've got the smile on your face, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing it, whatever you're doing. And you can get tired after doing it for 10, 14 hours a day. You can get super tired doing it. These people, Tom and Zendaya, they are just amazing to watch, because it's like, how can you continue to do this breakneck pace of film after film after film and promotion after promotion and keep a smile on your face? They, for whatever reason, I mean, billions of dollars between them. I mean, they're doing their work.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing I'll say about it is, Aljon, is that you got to love what you do. And you got to realize that what you do, if you're an actor like that, it's the fans that are putting you up there. It's the fans that are going to the theater. And I would argue, for us, it's our listeners, that are tuning in every week, or it's somebody who's buying my book, It's like, I'm always grateful for all of that stuff. And I think that these folks have that sort of mentality. They're grateful for what they're doing. They're enjoying what they're doing, and they're grateful to the fans. At least that's what the appearance is.
Well, no, and you see, that's the whole Ozzy Osbourne of it all, Dave. Ozzy had this thing of, I have my life and my career and my family's life in service to the fans. The fans really are the reason why you continue to do this, and you have to be gracious to the fans. It's all about the fans. Let me put this in a frame here. Star Wars: The Force Awakens holds the record for best domestic second weekend after collecting 149.2 million in 2015. Avengers Endgame looks to remain at number 2 with a follow-up frame of 147.3 million. Spider-Man No Way Home had the previous record with 84.5. I mean, all of those are Disney tent films now.
Yes.
That's huge, right? That's something to keep in mind.
It's a good segue into Disney's earnings.
Well, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Look at our golden boy. Look at our golden boy, Josh Tomorrow from Business Insider here, Dave. So we have here the earnings call. The results were in, and Disney's pleased with Wall Street and TikTok. And I hate these ads that pop up. Under Josh Tomorrow, this is his first couple quarters as Disney's CEO.
I think this is his second quarter.
Second quarter, there you go. The shares rose 3% in early trading after the Mouse House posted strong earnings for the quarter that ended June 27th. They were up 28 year over year, 28%, Dave. And that's pretty good because we're stockholders, so that makes us happy.
Yes.
As a result of all of this stuff.
It's about time. It's about time, Aljon.
Turn it around, guys. Turn it around. So having said that, with everything going on, what the heck is going on with TikTok? Because it looks like, they had their income more than doubled to 712 million this quarter, while operating income and experiences rose over 20% to over 3 billion. That's parks, guys. Income and experiences, that's parks. What exactly is going on in terms of TikTok? That's my question.
I honestly, I have no idea, other than they're going to use some of that material to spotlight some of the TikTokers.
Well, and there you go. It's the first of its kind, and this is the press release from the Walt Disney Company. Okay. The Walt Disney Company and TikTok announced the first of its kind global short form consenting deal. And this comes to us as a press release from the Walt Disney Company, just dated a few days ago. This new collaboration puts fan creativity front and center and opens the door for next generation of creators. I think this is kind of what they wanted to do with AI a little bit. But and some of the stuff they wanted to kind of co-opt, right? Some of the AI generated stuff.
That kind of fizzled out very quickly. It'll be interesting to see what they do with this. I mean, look, they're trying different things. I give them credit for that. But more beyond this, did you hear the Wall Street analysts talk about Disney just getting out of the streaming business? Did you hear about that?
I did hear about that. So, Dave, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I think this analyst, I think it was an analyst from Wells Fargo Bank, said that he thought Disney could make more money on its content by licensing it to other streaming services and just not having a streaming service of their own. Which he laid out a good case for it, which I thought was very interesting.
The Wells Fargo analyst Stephen Cahill says that long-term Disney strategy should return to its old business model of producing versus distributing, creating premium entertainment, selling rights to other platforms, right? They've spent billions of dollars on Disney Plus and Hulu, but they could get a lot more in revenue share by licensing their products.
Yeah, and he goes on to say that he projects 40% stock increase, 40% stock price increase, because if they did that, and by the way, there was somebody else on Wall Street said, listen, if you can't get your earnings boosted and start, rewarding shareholders, then Apple should buy Disney. What do you think of that? What do you think about Apple buying Disney? And I want to put this in context for our listeners, because when you have companies, and Apple is one of them, Apple's value of the company crested over $5 trillion recently. Apple, $5 trillion. Just think about that number, okay? And Disney as a company is worth $170 billion. Right? Apple is worth $5 trillion, right?
Yeah.
Even, and I mentioned this to Aljon, I mentioned this to you before we went on the air. Berkshire Hathaway, which is a conglomerate, currently had almost $400 billion in cash to deploy. Just think about that. $400 billion in cash. They could turn around and use less than half of that to buy the Walt Disney Company.
Good.
I mean, I kind of feel like when you see, Skydance buying Paramount, and then the Skydance Paramount combination buying Warner Brothers, it's not inconceivable somebody or some entity can come out of the woodwork and say, we're going to buy the Walt Disney Company for cash.
Yeah, they could. I mean, and then you have to look at all the antitrust that would go on with that, possibly, right?
Well, it depends on who's buying them.
It depends on who's buying it. That's right.
Right.
So yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but if Apple bought them, Apple could merge Apple Plus into with Disney Plus and Hulu, or you could turn around and shut down Disney Plus and Hulu and license all your material, to Apple Plus and potentially license it out to other other streamers.
Definitely could. We put this question towards social and queried, if you will, the scores and scores of fans over social, and they say fandom's mostly skeptical or straight up against it. The Apple Disney thing is an old rumor that pops up every few years. Bob Iger confirmed in June that Disney had some early initial talks with light conversation about the possible merger of Apple and Disney, calling it truly transformational, but Apple shrugged it and it went nowhere. Disney fans, especially parks people, tend to worry about Apple not really understanding or caring about the theme park cruise experiences side of the business. The risk is that parks or other non-core stuff gets neglected, sold off, or turned into something more sterile, or losing Disney's independent identity and creative culture, or just general tech company owns our childhood unease. So a smaller group thinks that the tech integration could be cool, better apps, streamless park experience, stronger streaming, and some Apple side people like the idea of a massive IP vault, but the domination fan vibe has always been wary rather than excited, which I tend to be in that camp. So.
Well, look, my view is that the Walt Disney Company is a special company, but that is being diminished and has been diminished over the last, decade or so. It's become more of a Fortune 500 company, and when you hear the fans griping about it the way I do, and I'd love to hear some of our listeners' opinions, but I hear from hardcore Disney fans that they feel like it's just become a money grab, and that they've diluted things, and it's I don't know, not as special as it used to be.
Well, here we go. How about this? Speaking of short form videos, TikTok. We have some other interesting news here for Netflix as it talks about short form video as well. It seems to me like when these other companies like Netflix or Disney strike deals with short form video pushes, that maybe we've seen the crest kind of fall a little bit. And Netflix is pushing deeper into the short form video territory dominated by TikTok and YouTube, striking licensing deals with a slate of U.S. media publishers to carry bite-sized content on its own platforms. Members just don't want to watch or show or films. They want to keep exploring the stories and personalities they love long after the final credits roll. That's kind of like me. So this is interesting about the short form video push. Netflix pushing deeper into short form video territory. What do you think about stuff like this, Dave?
I don't know, Aljon. Maybe we should be chopping up our show. Maybe we should take our picks of the week and make that a short form video. You know,
I think we already do that a little bit. If you checked out some of our short content, you'll see like 3 minutes of us talking about stuff. Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. I mean, this is for better or for worse, Dave. People doom scroll. People are looking for that short form content. I'll be honest. I do it. And
Aljon, I'm going to tell you right now, Gen Z is pushing back on that. Gen Z is pushing back by going analog.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see more Gen Zs going into movie theaters. You're seeing them embracing vinyl records. You're seeing them embracing photography, traditional photography. There's a resurgence of Polaroid cameras.
Yeah.
I know that because I actually bought a couple Polaroid minis for my daughters.
There you go.
You know, so the fact is that, you know, the audience, as always, can be a very fickle thing.
Yes.
You know,
agreed.
So you're seeing some cross currents happening, you know.
Well, there you go. I think once again, that is what's going on. I mean, you know, the pushback is real. And I think once again, it's cyclical. So this is another 25-year cycle. Everything old is new again, and analog making a little bit of a comeback. That's not a bad thing.
There you go.
Skull Rock Podcast.
You know, you're like that little arrow on your hat, straight and shining, and that's the way I'll always remember you.
I'll always remember you. I'll always remember you.
I'll always remember you, Sharon.
They hang you, I'll always remember you.
In memoriam.
So, guys, now it's time for our weekly. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead and say it.
Obituary roll call.
An obituary roll call. So here we are. I'm going to show the screen here. One of my favorites, Dave, WWE Hall of Famer Dory Funk Jr. dies at 85 years old, part of the iconic Funk family. Dory Funk, the company WWE announced on Tuesday, August 4th. He was part of the Funk dynasty. And you remember Terry Funk. He's an old school actor. Well, This is, once again, the brother to Terry Funk, son of Dory Funk, huge in the Texas wrestling world and entertainment as well. So very sad indeed. And I'm going to show you a little bit of a photo here of him, or at least I was going to show you a photo of him. But it is sad. His time has come. Another person whose time has come, unfortunately, was Mary Rivera. She was Ned. Speaking of Ned, Dave, Filipino Ned from Spider-Man No Way Home. She passes away at 82. There she is, right there.
Yeah. She passes away. I'm telling you, Ned is your doppelganger. and by the way, I didn't even realize he was Filipino like you are.
Yeah. Yeah, so, he's Filipino. There you go. There you go. Dave, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast right now. Let's turn our attention to Joaquím Royo, visual development artist, art director, and very talented person, Dave, right here on Skull Rock Podcast.
Let's do it.
Hey, let's chat.
Let's chat afterwards.
Let's chat. And he said, let's chat again.
Skull Rock Podcast. Interview time.
Board. Well, Aljon, we've got a fantastic guest. You know, the Skull Rock Podcast is a global podcast, and we travel the world now. So we've gone to Spain to visit with Joaquím Royo. Joaquím Royo, who is an art director, color stylist, visual development artist. Joaquim, welcome to the Skull Rock Podcast.
Glad to meet you, Dave.
It's great to have you. And, I want to give a shout out to Gerard in South Africa for introducing the two of us. You've had a very storied career, and you worked with Walt Disney Animation Studios at the Paris studio when it was open, and you worked on some very seminal films like Tarzan and Hercules and Hunchback, the Goofy movie, but you've also worked on a lot of other films. And what I'd like to start with, and I always ask our guests, how did you get involved in the animation business? When did it start for you? Were you in grade school, a child?
Yeah, well, it's my career in animation is really something weird, because I started studying 3 years medicine in the faculty, and suddenly I realized by doing anatomy and all my sketches on this dissection and other notes I thought, okay, art is my really what I feel. But well, in my family, like my father said, nobody is an artist. Everybody could be an engineer, a doctor, somebody with a career. My father told, with drawing and painting, you don't make money out of that. I say, okay, I don't care of that, because it's what I want to do in my in my career. I'm gonna spend a lot of hours, a lot of time just learning and doing my stuff. So I quit medicine, and I started doing fine arts. So I studied 7 years in the Faculty of Bellas Artes here in Barcelona, and as well 5 more years in Llotja. Is an art applied skills for different, without being at university, but you're very focused on life drawing and practicing a lot. So I've been combining both of them until I've got my doctorate in fine arts. But I started just teaching, but I thought that at my youth I was too young to teach something. I didn't want to have this kind of art stagnation on something that you live from a title. Say, no, you have to learn more. And I jumped into animation. I was starting with some studios in Barcelona, like Studios Andreu, Delta Group, Docon, and others. And I'm doing animation, but I wanted to go beyond that. I started just tackling color and painting backgrounds, doing oil painting that I was doing from the faculty already. But I wanted to those feelings, studying light and color, how to apply this into entertainment. So I started with backgrounds. I was amazed by films that I saw, like Bambi, for example, the opening with those long panoramic backgrounds, and Pinocchio, the opening, and I feel so well that inspired me a lot. So basically, Bambi and Pinocchio were the films that had a real impact in me. So I started with animation, just using thumbnails. But after I jumped into color, but after I was beyond. I wanted to see the whole thing, right? To incorporate the characters, that they have local colors, but as well, it depends on the background they're going to be moving. It's going to be affected by different light. And all these really excite me, as well, the design of the effects, on how they match to create this common language on backgrounds, characters, special effects, and this has this uniqueness that excites me a lot. And as well, you're not working alone in a corner. If not, you have to work with other artists, other members, where you can learn a lot as well. The input is just fantastic. And when you put all together into a film and you have it in the screen, I can just not avoid to cry. My wife told me, you're crying again in the film. Yeah, it's been such a hard work, but so emotional and I've learned every single film more and more. So that's why I stayed in animation. And now that I am 63 years old, now I think I can teach something, but not before.
Well, that's Yeah, that's a fantastic outlook, I think. Yeah, I just wanted to step back for a second because you said you started out in animation, so you were doing you were an in-betweener. You started out at the bottom, like many of us. I started as an in-betweener, but you
Yeah.
and doing so, you get to see the process. You get to look around at the process that's going on in the studio. So you obviously were inspired by the background artists.
That's right. That's
And,
right. Basically, I was doing animation in a very small studios, so I not stay long there because the color always draw my attention to it. So I quit animation. Even my sketches, instead of being black and white pencil, were in colors. So it was something that I always been attached and attracted by color.
did you how did you make that jump? I think I'm always curious to ask that question because I see a lot of colleagues who started out in animation, as an entry level position, as an in-betweener or an assistant, move into the story department or into visual development or, some other department. How did you make that leap? Did somebody take you under their wing and say, "Hey, I'm going to mentor you," or did you ask for somebody to
No,
mentor?
no, that was not like that. I mean, I start in animation, not in like a Disney style as it is. But at that time, I was working on series, so the animation was very limited, and as well, it just uh, uh, small animation with you apply the principles of animation, but there was not really acting. When you see animated films from Disney, you see acting there. It just basically is an actor with a pencil in the hand, and I was not like that at that time. After I was very very enthusiastic with the color because I saw the paintings in the museums, and as well I saw some of the backgrounds in the movies. And I thought this is what I'm gonna go to. So basically, I start doing backgrounds as well in Barcelona, in Madrid. I working for some productions in France, for example, Omer le Petit Vert, feature animation, and as well in the series Il était une fois la vie, Once Upon a Time Life, was an animated series, and I did background for that. But the animations still get very rudimentary. I really want to aim feature films like this. I had the chance to work with animation in London, so that they give me the chance to really work in a feature film with quality like Disney. So I've been doing backgrounds. I had the chance as well to have in my hands the thumbnails and sketches, color keys of Hans Bacher.
Oh yes,
Precious.
Hans.
Yeah, exactly.
At some point, I'm going to get Hans Bacher on the show.
Good. So I had the chance as well to see his work and say, okay, this graphic way of vision, the way he deals with the color. So I've been doing that. My big jump was when I was at Disney. They hired me. I was the last background painter that Paris studio hired me. It was with the British brothers that they were running the studio at that time.
Yeah,
and as well Kevin Lima became friends as well. And there was a moment that the Americans just left the studio and they wanted to use a Goofy movie as a platform for training, doing quite a lot of time the artists. After they say, okay, is a studio that has evolved a lot on TV animation and on number levels. So they stay just a few of Americans with us just to train us in animation, background painting, and then we start working on Runaway Brain, the short with Mickey. And they were really, really fussy on how to be painting. I had a good mentor for me, Dan Cooper.
Yes.
You hear of him.
Yes.
Ian Gooding. Okay.
Yep. Ian Gooding was
so-called
Ian Gooding was the art director, and Dan Cooper was the head of backgrounds, wasn't he?
Exactly. So, and later on with Doc Ball and Lisa Keane, we become very, very close, and I've learned a lot with them. That was really the jump. And well, the Americans leave, and they called me with human resources, and that was Roy Conley as well. And say, we need to leave some heads of the departments here. And I was the last to entry at Disney Television, and I was the one that took the position of background artist, head of department. So from then, that where I was escalating. There was some visual development to do, some color keys, color splits, some aside projects that they say, okay, give us your vision on that, and then visual development on this, and this is how I built up myself. And after I finished like director.
You are racing through your career here. I want to step back a little bit and talk a little bit about the Goofy movie, because it's 30 years on now, and that movie has endured, and it has a long and great following of people who really have enjoyed it. I did an extensive interview with Kevin Lima last year and talked about that film. I'm curious, you worked on it in Paris. What can you talk about as far as working on the backgrounds and working with that team?
That was just amazing for me. The fact of being with Disney company was for me just kind of a honor, a privilege, because I always was aiming, was my kind of a carrot that always pulled me to go hard. I had experience as well with animation. After they closed in Acton Town in London, the studio, and they jumped to Los Angeles, is what is nowadays DreamWorks. But at that time, I didn't want to travel because I had my first son, so I preferred to stay in Europe. And these were asking for artists, and I saw in an advertisement that they were need background painters. So the day that I called the door, they say, okay, he's been completed. We don't need any other background painter. But they like my portfolio and say, we're gonna give you a test. So I went to the TV Disney Studios on a Monday morning. I had the interview on Monday evening. I took the airplane to Madrid because I was there at that point. And they gave me a test to do. So that was I did it in one day and something more. I was working even the night to have my test done.
Let me ask you. Yeah, let me ask you a question. Just so our listeners understand. You're from Barcelona,
right?
But you were doing work in Madrid, but you also were living up in Paris at some point, right?
Been camping here and there, been in lots of different places.
And just
been in Germany as well.
Yeah, just for understanding, because you're in the European Union, you can cross borders easily and work no problem, correct?
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I had the chance as well to work in America because the company just asked for me, because apparently they had to show that nobody else but me could do the work in Los Angeles. If not, the states give priority always to the artists that are already in Paris. So I don't know how Disney managed, but in 2 weeks I've got a visa. So I got the chance to go there.
Well, it's Disney.
I had on my
it's Disney. They have the money and they have the resources to jam a visa through.
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah.
Now, how long were you coming to Los Angeles? How long did you work in Los Angeles?
I work during different. It depends on the production I was working on. I had to do back and forth Paris and Los Angeles, and the last time that was in 2004 and 2005. I've been these last 2 years working on Tarzan. Yeah,
on Tarzan. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
yeah, so
2002.
you were actually the background supervisor on Tarzan in Paris.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so
And they give me
because you were supervisor, they flew you back and forth periodically to meet with
that's
the production
yes.
team. Yes.
Yeah. And as well, they give me once in a while to say, okay, we have this sequence. Take some sketches from the storyboard or the workbook from the layout department, and we will need some color keys or color script for some of the sequence. So I was doing that. So I think that they were testing me as well if I would fit on being a director. So and I get the job.
Very nice. Just stepping back to the Goofy movie, how long did you work on the Goofy movie in Paris?
That was 1 year and something more. I can't exactly know how many months, but a year and something months. Yeah.
And did you from the Goofy movie, did you step into Runaway Brain right away?
Exactly.
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
Okay. You know, by the way, I was the artistic coordinator on Runaway Brain.
Really?
When it left Paris and came back to Los Angeles, I was asked to step onto that project to help finish it.
You were in Paris then?
No, I was not in Paris. It was when the production left Paris and came back to Los Angeles. They asked me to go onto it in Los Angeles to help facilitate getting the movie finished.
Good, excellent. Then. Yeah,
yeah, I had a lot of fun working on that.
Oh yeah, that was just amazing. Amazing artists, amazing people as well.
Yeah, and you worked, of course, with Chris Bailey, who was the director of the short.
Exactly, that's right. Yes, yeah.
He's an old, he's an old classmate of mine from Cal Arts.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So from Runaway Brain, you then went on to Hunchback of Notre Dame.
That's right. Yes. That's right. We had the background is Dogbo in the center.
How did you guys feel about being in Paris, working on specific sequences for these feature films that were predominantly being done in Los Angeles?
It worked very well. It worked very well because that's why we had this back and forth communication that you have two teams, one in Los Angeles, another one in Paris, and it looks like we work separately. But we had the chance as well to send some artists to Los Angeles, working with the rest of the team, but as well they were sent some of the artists as well working with us in Paris, an exchange as well. And that as well, every week we had meetings just to talk about the work in progress. We had as well pencil test and a work in production that we had kind of a review of what was going on different projects. I remember as well that we were looking at Pocahontas, we were looking at other films, and we see the projects from one week to the other one. We see pencil tests and some sequence as well, like how they were evolving into color, and that was very nice as well. Even if we were working on different projects, but to see the evolving of other projects, even if we were far away, that was very interesting. And Disney managed to do that.
Yeah. And as the films progressed, going from one project to the next, the technology was advancing, so it was becoming easier to do video conferences and things like that. Whereas, on the Goofy movie, I know Kevin was talking about they'd have to send VHS tapes back and forth in order to review stuff. And so it becomes much easier as you move along once the video conferencing came into play, because then you could interact in real time and show things in real time.
Every session that we had, every meeting was recorded, so we got a huge tape. We could watch it and see it again and again in case that we didn't understand correctly, or there was something missing, and as well there was the handicap of the language, right? Even
Yes.
if communicate in English, but something in the communication, slightly understanding subtleties and things like that could be just misinterpreted. Especially the animators had a tough time, for example, with the lip sync, right?
Yes.
Because of the pronunciation.
Yeah.
So as well, this is the challenge we have. That you're always in this learning process where you are getting sharper, you get learning, challenging, and this kind of challenge is what builds you as an artist, and you get better.
Yeah. Yeah. And how much was the language barrier an issue? Were there some funny misinterpretations?
I'm pretty sure it was. I was not attending to all the meetings because I was more in care about what was going on in the Paris studio. But I'm pretty sure that that was some misunderstandings as well.
Yeah.
And we had courses of language. So the Americans has French, and the French has English every week, just to get used to that. There were lessons of lip sync, pronunciation, acting as well, because there are some poses or ways to use the hands as well that in America has a meaning, but in Europe has other ones. So we have to be careful on these things. And it was a constantly polishing and doing the things until we set things right.
Yeah. The lip sync issue, even with the words being broken down on the exposure sheet, it was also difficult, I would imagine, when English is a second language, to create the mouth shapes for some of the vowels and consonants, right?
Right. That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as well, we have in French, we have vowels that in English doesn't exist. The way that English speakers we speak more from the mouth out, sometimes with the nose, and the French is more like
yeah.
It's as another way, right? So to adapt all these. But you see the film and you don't realize that kind of things, unless that people, the audience, have this knowledge, right?
Yeah. But I'm imagining, though, because you're in the European Union, the Paris studio had artists from various countries.
Right.
So did English become sort of the language of business, so to speak?
Yeah, we all spoke English.
Yeah.
And the English has French languages, and the French speaker English. So and for us was mandatory. Yeah, we have each one of us, even individually. Disney put a teacher to each one of us just to be very, very personalized courses, just because the purpose of that is that we could do the work as best as possible.
Yes.
And as well, it was fantastic to do some sequences in Paris, especially the prologue was done absolutely entirely in Paris. We went to the cathedral, take notes there. We had access to places that normally the public doesn't have. We went up to the cupola to see and to touch the real beings with some centuries on them. We had access to so many things. We took photos, sketches. He was so into the spirit, the flavor of being in Paris that we had that word when we could create the opening in Hunchback of Notre Dame that explained the setup, the atmosphere for the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I had heard stories about that you had some amazing access to the cathedral.
That's right.
Yeah. And I think that's, just speaks to the type of research that goes into the Disney animated films.
And as well, we were making studies because during the transition from film to film, there was a period, a lapse of time that could be from 3 months to 6 months, just to get used to the style and to achieve what is required. I remember that dog ball, we were just painting the sensation of the polished pavement with some moss. How is the water in the cracks? How is the little mud that is in the gaps of the stones? How to work with textures and things like that. We had just a fantastic time of that, and it's something that the audience is going to see 1 hour and a half of film, but all the input, all the material that is being kept, put aside, even throw away, that is just a value that is just nobody can even imagine how much work they are behind all those productions.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought this is a privilege and an enormous way of learning to be on this process with this art combination with the story, with cinema, with music, with color and light, with so many things that is just fantastic to give the experience of working for Disney doing one feature film.
Of all of these movies that you worked on over in at the Paris studio, which one sort of rises to the top? Not as a favorite, but just as a learning experience and something that you have many fond memories of.
Well, all of them bring you different things because I have all of them different styles, even if they are the same artists. Just even once in a while there were other artists that joined the cruise. We had this special thing that was engaging new people to the Paris studios as well to Los Angeles by this recruiting process and having new artists that stayed with us 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and if they were working well, they would have a contract to work with us. But every single film has a different style.
Yeah.
And we had to erase what we are used to produce in 2 years to start a completely new thing, even if before you've been working on several different styles before, right? So you need a kind of disintoxication from the previous one and just clean up your mind just to understand what's the next project. And for me, all of the Disney films I've been working that support me and give me more input. If I have to say just personally what I think would be really a hit for me, I would consider 3 of them. Runaway Brain, that I've learned a lot, and as well Hunchback of Notre Dame and Tarzan. For me, those 3 projects were for me fantastic.
It was I'm sorry, Hunchback.
Yeah. Runaway Brain and
Runaway Brain and Tarzan, yeah, and very distinct styles. Obviously, I mean, you know, you're looking at Runaway Brain as having a little bit more of a cartoon quality to it, whereas Hunchback is more realistic in architectural, very much architectural picture. And then you got Tarzan, which is all in the jungle.
Organic and yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could see how those were very challenging for you. It's interesting. I'm curious to hear your perspective on it, but I want to step back to the language issue because even within certain parts of the country, regionally within a country, there's different dialects like there are here in the United States. So the pronunciation of some words is slightly different. And I experienced that with before we even started this interview in pronouncing your first name correctly. Because you're from the Barcelona area, the northern part of Spain, which has a little bit of a different dialect than other parts of Spain. If you were in Madrid or elsewhere, and I'm just
sorry, Catalan is a completely different language.
It's a different language, yeah.
In Spain, we have 7 different languages plus dialects. Okay,
yeah,
and ways of pronouncing. We are kind of a United Kingdom. It's like a Great Britain in Spain.
Because I was actually I initially pronounced your name really based on I think you pointed out like Mexico or some parts of the southern part of the United States, but I was pronouncing it Joaquim.
This is like Castilian.
But it's pronounced Joaquim.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I'm still trying to get used to it. But
and the only difference, you can remark that, and you know when to pronounce Joaquin and Joaquim, is because in Castilian there's only an N at the end. And in Catalan you have the same word, but it changes instead of an N, an M, and just like this tiny changement, the pronunciation changed completely.
Got it. Yeah, no, it's interesting, and again, I go back to that. I'm almost positive that it would have elicited some funny moments with different people from different countries and how they're pronouncing things, and also the confusion that it can cause with somebody thinking, well, I'm sorry, what's he saying? Especially in France, because France is very particular on how they say certain words, right?
Yeah. Exactly, that's true.
So if you're slightly off, they're confused looking and they don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Just a mispronunciation could be a little weird, right? And even it happens with Europe. I mean, for example, I'm gonna give you a kind of a note on that. When I was coming from London and Spain to France, my only words that I knew was merci and oui. And in Spain we have we pronounce 5 vowels, right? A, B, C. Okay, and in Catalan we have 7 pronunciation of the vowels, but in French as well. So, and they have the difference between U and U. U. Okay.
Yeah.
But this, I was not aware of that, So for me, I wanted to speak French, and I was everywhere, just pronouncing like to make it more French, to sound more French, So I remember at the beginning when they were arranging my papers for residency, things like that. I said, okay, they use a lot of the U. So I was saying merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup is what it has to be said. Merci beaucoup. But I was saying no, merci beaucoup because to make it more French, I was saying merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. I was kind of, the secretaries and the assistants were just always laughing until there was a lady from the human resources that said to me, Monsieur Royo, quand vous disiez merci beaucoup, there is no merci beaucoup, it's merci beaucoup. Because if no, you're saying thank you very much, nice ass. So this is what I was. So can be seem like that, and I try to excuse myself, but well, I think we don't learn unless that we make mistakes. I mean,
yes, absolutely,
we make mistakes, and we just bounce and say okay. But this kind of anecdote, and this is what happens to me, but I'm pretty sure that others can just
even in English over in London there's certain words that mean different things, I learned that when I lived in London and worked on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because if you were to ask somebody if they wanted a lift, they look at you, well, a lift is an elevator. What are you talking about? And I'm sitting there saying, well, if you wanted a lift in my car to go someplace, and then if you were to say, do you want a ride? That means something wholly different over in England as opposed to in the United States, and there was other other sort of words that stuck out to me, what they referred to cigarettes as, or, things like that in England that had different meanings, and some not very good, so in the United States. And so I always, you always have to smile at that kind of stuff, because like you said, it's a learning curve sometimes.
Yes. That's why Disney was very interested that we make sure, especially because the lip sync on the film was not going to be German or French or Danish. It's going to be English, and American English, right? Because the ones that lead those films are American. And I remember as well, anecdotically, they say, okay, because there are things that in Europe doesn't have so much funny meaning that in America, right? If somebody bobs at the table or farts or whatever, in America people laugh, but here no, it's considered very, very bad. So when we see, for example, the gargoyles on Hallow Road and Notre Dame, that they are doing noises and bopping and things like that, for us it's like, why don't they we have reviews every time that we see a line test and things like that, and we say we should not be there. So you could see that the mentality was completely different. But let's remember that we were making a film especially just focused on American people, right? After it got around the world, but there were things like that was kind of like a different shock of cultures.
Yes. Yeah, and some of those things do not translate. Some of that humor does not translate cross-border. But they're making the movie for, an English audience. And some of those things may fall flat when they get translated into other languages and shown in other cultures.
Right.
I think this is a great place for us to just stop, because I want to pick up our conversation next week, because I'd really like to talk about some of the Asterix movies. I don't think our audience, at least in the U.S., our listening audience, knows much about the Asterix cartoons, but they're highly popular in France and other parts of the world. So let's pick up our conversation next week, and we'll talk a little bit about those films and your experiences with those, okay?
Good. Excellent. Sounds good to me.
Let's get out of here! Come on, Scotty, let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here, Lieutenant.
All right, Dave, wrapping up our interview. Once again, it's part one with art director and visual development artist Joaquím Royo. Dave, how was that?
I really enjoy talking to animation professionals around the world. And, Joaquim is in Spain and does a lot of work in France and around Europe. And it was just absolutely delightful talking with him. I really enjoyed it. He's a very nice guy. And I hope our listening audience enjoyed hearing from him and hearing what's going on in Europe.
Awesome. Looking forward to part two.
Yes.
Tune in next week, man. It's going to be great. Hey, big thumbs up to everyone that has put in their entries to win Dave's book. We forgot to mention it at the top of the show. It's still around. We have a few more days left, so go ahead and register to win the new book. Dave, go ahead and tell people about this new
Walt
book
Disney World War II, Animation on the Front Lines. We're giving away 3 copies. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, except if you're in the United States, you get free shipping. If you're outside the United States, well, you're going to have to pay for the shipping, folks. But you still get the book for free.
Oh, there you go.
So,
well, good.
and I hope people are entering. Are there a lot of people entering? Just,
There are
Okay,
people
good.
entering, and there are a lot. And once again, we will put your name in the randomizer. We'll pull it out. Last week, I superimposed that book on my face so people could see it in post. And then once again, gang, a great tome, as Dave mentioned, a big old book full of great insights about that era of Disney history.
And I will add, I have just posted a sneak peek at the book on my Patreon page. So Aljon's going to put a link to my Patreon page into the show notes, but my Patreon page has not only the cover, it has a description of the book, but I put in 5-page spreads just to give you a sense of what's inside this book. And I'd be curious to hear comments, but you can check it out on my Patreon. I hope you become part of my Patreon community.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
Join the community. We will have the links in the show notes. And here you can see the wonderful website that I built really quick.
Look at that. I love it. Wow.
Book that. Thank you, AI, for helping me design this website. Win one of 3 pre-release copies of Dave's book, Walt Disney World War II. Get it before it releases this fall. Once again, free if you're in the United States. International shipping. Winners will have to pay for that as well. You can do that via Venmo. It's good stuff there, but you can go ahead and once again, sign up. You got to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, X, all of our social medias there. Just enter your name and all that. And once again, we have the awesome rules. The official rules are right here. And you have until August 16th, guys. You just have a few more days to enter. The official rules are stated on the website. So don't delay. Sign up today.
Fantastic.
It's like fantastic. I love that. All right. So gang, once again, follow us on all of our socials. You're going to love us. We appreciate that. We'll have the links to Dave as well for the Patreon, as well as the other stuff he's got going on. Links to our email. We'll make sure that we post that as well. If you've got questions or comments, just let us know. And once again, you can follow me, Aljon Go. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram. And you can also check out the other podcasts that I do with Kat and Kristen. It's the Dining at Disney podcast. We host it every single week with new content and new tips and tricks. If you love Disney food, if you love the Disney parks, you're going to love Dining at Disney podcast everywhere you find podcasts and on YouTube. Dave?
Yeah, and you can listen to me on my Tunes Behind the Tunes on SiriusXM, Disney Hits, Channel 133. During the month of August, I am spotlighting Winnie the Pooh, written by Sherman Brothers, the Sherman Brothers, and performed by the Disney Chorus. I love this song, the title song, Winnie the Pooh. It's just fantastic. So I talk a bit about that. Again, the Tunes Behind the Tunes on SiriusXM, Disney Hits, Channel 133. You can also get signed copies of some of my books on theoldmillpress.com. I think by September, my new book is going to be up on that website, potentially for pre-orders, but it's not up yet. I think it's going to be after Labor Day or sometime in September. You can also go to davidbossert.com and check out some of my free content and stuff you can send away for. And as we've mentioned, I do have a Patreon page. You can become part of my community. I'm posting exclusive content, including a sneak peek inside the book, the new book, Walt Disney World War II, Animation on the Front Lines. You can check that out on my Patreon page. The link is in the show notes. And with that, Aljon, I would say go out and have a fantastic week. Enjoy these dog days of summer by sitting in the air conditioning and listening to our podcast. And we will see you again here next Monday, right here on the Skull Rock Podcast.